So in this video, I'm going to be showing how well Bethesda made Helvetia in Fallout 76 compared to real life, as you can see. Check this out. Hope you all find this enjoyable, and if you do, consider leaving a like on the video. Let's see if we can get this video to surpass, I don't know, like 1,000 likes or something. That'd be awesome to see. And it'll also get this passed around more to the community so more players can see how well Bethesda did recreate Helvetia in Fallout 76. As always, that's totally up to you. Just a reminder here in the beginning. Hope you all enjoyed this comparison though. But yeah, I guess while I am showing you all this comparison footage, I might as well get into some details on why I even made a trip out to West Virginia in the first place. 4 years ago, actually, I decided to travel all the way out to West Virginia to show off real-life locations compared to how they looked in Fallout 76. I planned this trip to be in time to make it to the Fasnacht event as well in West Virginia, which happens once a year, typically in February. I'm glad I made this trip to here because I got to show the compassion and love Bethesda had for making this game. Also, apparently, I might have even helped make Fasnacht in Helvetia, West Virginia more popular, according to this comment in a previous video I made over the experience I had at the Fasnacht celebration in real life. As you can see, the comment said, "I think your video had the desired effect," which this person is talking about what I said in this video. Just hoping to bring more awareness to the Fasnacht event and how I'd love to see the town thrive. But yeah, as you can see, continuing on, this comment said, "This year's Fasnacht celebration had almost 2,000 people attending. They were expecting 200, but they got way more, and I imagine it's because of videos like yours. As someone who grew up going to Fasnacht, and someone who even recognized some of the people and musicians in your video, thank you for promoting this wonderful little town and the event." Which that made my day reading that, because that's what I was hoping to chain react from posting the video. Going to this event just created some great memories to look back on. Which that video garnered over 145,000 views and is still growing till this day. I'll have a link to it in the description for y'all to check it out if you haven't, and it'll also pop up at the end of this video too. I suggest checking it out sometime if you're curious on how the real Fasnacht celebration goes in Helvetia, West Virginia. It really does feel good that I might have chain reacted a positive chain reaction for this small town to thrive and make more profit. And of course, also, the video wouldn't have even got out there more without the ones that gave it support by watching it and possibly leaving a like on it and commenting on it. That also helped boost the video more out there so it could reach more people. So everyone who helped support that video I posted a while back also helped support that small town. But yeah, I ended up actually looking into what that person commented on the video and figured out the news even said something about Fasnacht in Helvetia. Check this out.
Past weekend that Helvetia held its annual Fasnacht celebration. Our digital reporter Sam Gorski has more.
Helvetia, West Virginia is a little slice of Swiss heritage right here in the hills of West Virginia. Over the weekend, this community of less than 90 residents saw hundreds from across the United States and beyond pour in for the annual Fasnacht celebration. In Helvetia, Fasnacht is a celebration of the end of winter, and that end is celebrated in a variety of ways, mainly with food, drink, spectacular masks, and most notably, an effigy burning of Old Man Winter.
I'm not a local yokel. I'm from Wisconsin, and I had never heard of this before. But my friend's family, they play a video game, of course, called Fallout, which I'm sure lots of people know of. But actually, now living in Ohio, we hear about this festival all the time.
Fallout 76 is a survival adventure game set in West Virginia following a nuclear apocalypse, and players can attend Fasnacht in-game. Fallout 76's influence on attendees was very apparent, and many had dressed up as characters from the Fallout franchise. Of course, accommodating so many people can be a monumental task for such a tiny community, and every year it's up to a small band of volunteers to make it work.
It has fallen on the shoulders of roughly 40 people at the most, and the handful of 5 or 10 are really doing the brunt of the preparations. So it's difficult, but we are so proud and very, very glad that people embrace the festival as it is, even with all its flaws.
Layman, who is from Helvetia, said what started for her as a fun party when she was young has now become an important way to continue what came before.
These small communities throughout West Virginia are so important to hold on to. We have so many rich communities throughout this state, and I think Fasnacht is an example of, with very few people and resources, you can really excite and interest a lot of people.
From Helvetia, I'm Sam Gorski for 12 News.
So yeah, that's pretty insane, right? How much that little town's celebration over Fasnacht in Helvetia, West Virginia grew. I'm sure they are very thankful the amount of business that they get each year now. And of course, I just wanted to make this clear, it wasn't just because of that video I made a while back that helped this celebration grow. Let's be real, the main reason why it grew is because of Fallout 76 promoting it in the game. And their player base taking the time and dedication to go out to Helvetia, West Virginia to celebrate this once a year thing. Heck, to be real, I wouldn't have even known about Fasnacht being a real thing if it wasn't for Fallout 76. So I'm definitely not saying I'm the only reason why it grew. I was just saying I might have helped bring more awareness that it's a real event you can attend and how you can attend it. I might have helped inspire a few more people to take a trip out there. As you can see with these masks that were inspired from the game, there were definitely plenty of Fallout 76 fans out there. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into some more details over how well Bethesda recreated Helvetia. Starting off here with the Helvetia sign. This sign and what it says on it is actually inspired from real life. You can actually find this sign over in Helvetia, West Virginia. Here's what the sign says on it. Helvetia, settled by a group of Swiss and German immigrants who came via Brooklyn, New York in 1869. In addition to farmers and herdsmen, many craftsmen and professionals were among the settlers. Stonemasons, carpenters, and painters, wagon, shoe, watch, hat, and cheese makers, musician, teacher, minister, and doctor. Later groups arriving from Switzerland and other parts of US boosted 1874 population to 308. The only major difference is the one in-game is located in town next to the Yellow House, and the one that's in real life is located next to the community hall, which is a little further from that Yellow House, which is a restaurant. Anyway, speaking of the community hall, here's what it looks like in-game from that side compared to real life. And here's what it looks like from the side of the building and the view also that we get. Things are definitely more compact in game compared to real life, which makes sense. If Bethesda tried to make this the same size as real life, it would take absolutely forever to get around. Also, not to mention, could you imagine the download size if they made it the same size as real life? That'd be absolutely insane. Honestly, we'd need like a vehicle to travel around in game if they did try to make it the same size as real life. So it does make sense why they compact areas in game. But yeah, anyways, here's a comparison of what it looks like from the front of the community hall. Not too bad. There are some major differences with the community hall, but either way, I can tell that this was supposed to be the community hall. They did get it in the right place in town. Anyways, from the community hall here, let's go ahead and move up the street toward where the blue and yellow houses are. I gotta say, they did phenomenal work around in this area. I mean, these houses are pretty spot on, as you can see, comparing it to real life. I mean, look at this. Architecture is pretty much the exact same, and these buildings are in the same spots of where they're supposed to be in game. They're set up the exact same. Heck, they even got the little details right. Like around the yellow house, there's a stack of wood in real life, right? As you can see. And in the game, the developers even put a stack of wood here. Freaking amazing. I mean, there's not like a door to enter from this area, but still nonetheless, this is a little detail that the developers added that is similar to real life. It's not the exact same, but it's close enough to be able to tell what this place is in Helvetia. Anyways, moving on, let's now go down this road and look at the architecture from the front of these buildings. As you can see, here is what the Yellow House restaurant looks like, and the Blue House that's across the street from it looks like, compared to the game. They did a phenomenal job once again on these. They even got the little details right on these buildings, such as, for one example, the hearts that are carved out in the white wood on the Blue House building. Freaking amazing. But yeah, speaking of amazing, I was actually given the honor to tour the restaurant when there was no one in there besides just the workers to get footage of what it looks like inside. So yeah, hope you all enjoy this rare footage of a complete tour of the Yellow House restaurant, which the restaurant is actually called the Hitta restaurant. And I figured out Hitta actually means a small, simple shelter or house, typically found in rural areas. But yeah, if you're looking for a nice home-cooked meal, I definitely recommend checking this place out if you do come and visit the town. If you do visit the town during the Fasnacht celebration, keep in mind to try to get here earlier because, oh my gosh, it is so slammed if you try to get here while the Fasnacht celebration is going on. So yeah, try to get here a little before the celebration actually starts up because you might not even get to have a seat in here if you try to eat here while the celebration is going on. There's so much decorations and stuff in each area of this place. You can also see some extra Fasnacht masks they have hanging around on the walls in here too. I tried to film some of them while I did go in here, just to show you all some extra masks. They definitely got the Fasnacht Swiss and German vibe going on in here. Suits the theme of this town really nicely. And also there was an upstairs too inside this house, but I didn't go up there just because there's not an upstairs in game, so figured there wasn't really a point to go up there since I did come here to compare this place to the game. But yeah, there is an upstairs in real life at this house. Just wanted to mention that. And keep in mind, this was recorded 4 years ago, so things might have been rearranged a little bit here and there within this place since they also have more traffic coming here too. So they may have a little bit more room now for seating since they are expecting more people to come here during the Fasnacht celebration. Anyways, now since you've seen a complete tour over the inside of this restaurant, I'll go ahead and show you all it in game. There is a pretty big difference inside of it, but I gotta say the outside Bethesda nailed it. As you can see though, here's what it looks like inside. Pretty similar with the entrance, and then it starts to get a little different. Things are once again just more compact. You don't see the staircase either within here, like I mentioned before. There is no upstairs in the game. Here's the kitchen within the place. At least they added the kitchen for the restaurant. But yeah, this door just leads outside, inside the kitchen. And then they got this room right here in the front. I mean, there's some similarities here and there inside the place, but of course inside the real restaurant it's way bigger. But yeah, I figured I'd share a tour of inside this restaurant. But yeah, carrying on with the tour, next stop is the Honey House. As you can see, here is what it looks like compared to the game. Freaking insane how accurate they got this. I mean, even with the decorations next to the windows. Anyways, right next to this place, just like in game, you can find the cheese house. I didn't go inside the cheese house and get footage of it, but the outside of it looks great. Anyways, carrying on with this tour, next stop is the Helvetia Star Band Hall. As you can see, here's what it looks like in real life and where it's located at. It's in between the big blue building and kind of near the church, as well as the bridge that connects over to that restaurant that we just toured. Bethesda got the placement of this building spot on. It's right in between where it's supposed to be, the big blue building and the bridge that leads to the restaurant. Of course, once again, things are just more compact in the game. Anyways, inside the Helvetia Star Band, it is very compact in here, and it gets extremely crowded during the Fasnacht celebration. As you can see, here is how crowded it got during the celebration. I was allowed up here at the top to film the area, which by the way, this area up here is typically off limits just because they don't trust a lot of people up here at once. They don't know how stable it would be with a lot of people they were mentioning, which makes sense. You don't want a disaster to happen in here. But yeah, inside this place, drinks were being sold, as well as people just playing music and having a good time, and also people were trying to stay warm too from the outside, because it was pretty chilly out here around when the Fasnacht celebration was going on. And by the way, here's what the inside of the Helvetia Star Band Hall looks like in game. Honestly, it looks kind of similar because there's not much going on inside this building. It's just not as spacious and doesn't have an upstairs like the one in real life. Either way, I mean, there's really not much going on inside this building to really say, yeah, it's a huge difference. I mean, they even added the instruments inside of here, which, you know, people do play instruments inside the Helvetia Star Band Hall. Anyways, next up here from the Helvetia Star Band Hall, we're moving on to this big blue building, which this acts as the post office and a mass museum and a general goods store. I mean, it's a little bit of everything inside this place. And I gotta say, Bethesda did a phenomenal job with the accuracy of the architecture of this building. Heck, they really got all the buildings spot on within this small town. Even the placements of them, they did a great job with that too. However, inside, it looks completely different. As you can see, here's what it looks like in real life. In real life, you see just loads of masks hanging around in here. It acts like a museum. This is also where they get their mail at, so it's a post office too in here. And they sell all kinds of goods in here. I mean, you can find toothpaste to chips to oil that you may need for your car. You can just find all kinds of stuff in here. Also, they even sell souvenirs in here. I actually bought me a Helvetia cup from this place, and I still have it till this day and use it. But yeah, I highly recommend to check this place out and, maybe purchase something if you bring some money to help support this small town. They definitely appreciate it. But yeah, here's what it looks like compared to the game inside this place. Here's a little comparison of the outside environment from the porch of this big blue building. And inside, I will say they did get the theme down in here. It is a post office in here, you can tell with all of the mailboxes they have set up right when you first enter the place. And also it does act as a store in here as well. The big difference is the layout of this place. Only thing really they needed to make the theme even better in here is just to add a few mass decorations hanging around in here. But yeah, I will mention the layout though of this building is pretty different though, as you can see with like how they have the walls set up in here and stuff, dividing the different rooms, and also how you get upstairs in this building is different from real life. But for the most part, they did a solid job, especially with the outside of this building. And heck, all of the buildings, once again, they absolutely nailed the architecture of them. I mean, here we are outside. You can get a good view of the church coming out here on the top deck, which, speaking of the church, that's what I'm going to be covering next. As you can see, here's what it looks like in real life. Looks very similar to the one in game. Once again, the major difference is it's further away in real life compared to in game. Bethesda compact the environment around in game. I will also say the architecture is a bit different. I mean, they got it for the most part looking similar, but like the entrance to the church is on a different side compared to real life, and it seems to be taller in game compared to real life. And there's no sign out front to describe what kind of church it is in the game. In real life, it states that it's a Presbyterian church. But another good thing, though, about how they did this, they did get it in the same spot of where it's supposed to be at compared to real life. So, yeah, there's a few differences with the church, but for the most part, at least you can tell what it's supposed to be. Anyways, carrying on here, lastly, I'm going to go over the area where all the cabins are at and the gazebo out here in the field next to the church and the Helvetia Starband Hall. As you can see, starting off here, the bridge connecting over to this area is different compared to in-game. The bridge connecting over to the area in-game is over by the Yellow House restaurant. There is no bridge that connects over here where it's supposed to be in-game. There's no creek that flows in this vicinity either. The creek flows over there by the Helvetia restaurant in-game. But they got the layout over in this area really good. As you can see, they got the gazebo here and the multiple cabins and where it's supposed to be as well. You can see where the Helvetia Starband Hall is located at from over here, as well as the blue big building that acts as the general store, post office, and mass museum. So yeah, overall they did a solid job with this. By the way, this area is actually called the Historic Square, and they did get the library over in this area right too. As you see, before even entering this area in real life, it states that the Helvetia Public Library is over in the Historic Square. And yeah, you can find the library in game too, right where it's supposed to be. And it's a very similar structure as the one in real life. So they definitely did their research before making this place. It's nice to see. And there's also this similarity too with this area that you can take a picture at the Historic Square of Helvetia. They just have it in a different spot. Pretty cool though that they even added this. But yeah, there you guys have it though, an in-depth tour over comparing Helvetia to Fallout 76's Helvetia. I gotta say, Bethesda did a phenomenal job recreating this small town in game. Would love to know your guys' thoughts over all of this. As a friendly reminder here at the end of this video, consider leaving a like on this. That would help support the video. as well as maybe even a comment too, if you feel like it. As always, that's totally up to you. Just leaving a reminder here in the end. The support is greatly appreciated because it would help get this video more passed around to others to see Bethesda's hard work over this end game. But yeah, I'm out of here though, everyone. As always, most importantly, appreciate y'all taking the time, watching and listening. Until next time, peace.